In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a podcast list, upload a podcast, and more information about podcast. So let's get right into it. Come up here to your profile picture and click on it. Once you click on it, we're going to have a sub menu appear. This is it. So we're going to come up here and click on your channel. So go ahead and click on it. Now, once it opens up the other page, we're going to see here that you can see podcasts anywhere here. But we're going to come over to your videos right here, your videos. Go ahead and click on that. Once the page opens up, we can see it here, right here, podcast. So we're just going to wait for it to properly load first. After that, we're going to come here and click on it. So we're clicking on it now. So this is it right here. So it says new podcast. Now, let's go ahead and click on that. There's also a second option if you want to turn a playlist into a podcast. But what we want to do is we're going to create a new one. So this is the option right here. You select a playlist and turn that into a podcast. But I don't want to do that. I want to create a different content for the podcast. So come up here and click on create a new podcast. So let's go ahead and click on it. So once you click on it, the first thing you're going to need to be title. That's the name of this the podcast itself. We're going to put in the name. After putting in the name, so I'm just going to call my own, since I do gaming content, right here. So game news. Then I'm going to do a description right here. Description, that's the next part. Then if you look underneath, say public. So right here, we're going to have to put a square thumbnail. Yeah. So the thumbnail that has to be on a podcast, if you're creating a separate list for it, it's going to be a square. You can see it right there, square. I'm going to show you how you can create this on Canvas. So let's go right there. Let's look for Canvas. So after typing in Canvas, so this is where I am. So what I'm going to look for is I'm going to use a logo, or I'm going to look for a card. So I'm just going to search for it. If I can't find a card, I will use a logo. No, can't find it. So I'll just go with a logo because it's also a square. So I can change the design how I want it to be. So let's go ahead and use logo. Okay, so I'm just waiting for it to fully load. So this is right here. I'm gonna use this design right here. So you can go ahead and pick any design that you like or color. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change the text and any other thing I want to. So let's speed this up. Now I want to add something that relates to gaming, just not only the name. So that's why I'm going to add this icon right here. So I'm done with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and download it. So you can see right now it's downloading. So let's go back to YouTube. Okay, so right now we're going to come over here and click on this icon. We're back to YouTube. Once you click on that icon, we're going to have a sub menu appear. Okay, so that is it appearing. So from here, we'll be able to choose the image we just downloaded from Canvas and upload it. So this is it right here. It's been uploaded now. So for the description, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to ChatGPT and give it some information, then ask it to help me to write it into a description, make it just much faster for me. Okay, so here we are. So I'm gonna go ahead and type in what I want. So basically my podcast is gonna be like a news for gaming, talking about things happening in game. So I'm just gonna type it, generate a SEO optimized description for a gaming news channel. That's what I'm going to put there. So let me type that completely. I'll come back. Okay, so now I'm having the output right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. Then, okay, just copy it. Then I'm going back to YouTube and paste it into here. So I have my thumbnail. It's public, but the title, I think I can work on it a bit. So let me go back to here. I'll see what it can give me. So here we are on ChatGPT. What I want to do is get some, but since ChatGPT still remembers the last query that I ran on it, all I need to do is tell it to write out a title for me. Since it still remembers that I did generate this description for a gaming channel. So from there, boom, I have this right here. So I'm just gonna use this. It's okay with me, but you can change it the way you want yours to be. So I'm just gonna paste it here. Yeah, and that is it. So I have everything done. The title, description, I have the thumbnail. So what I need to do next is come over here to create. Come down here and click on create. Okay. And that's it. So I'm just going to wait for it to process. So now this is how it looks like. So we have done creating our podcast videos right here. So this is it. So now to upload one, we just need to click on add a video. Once we click on that, we can then upload it just the usual way we load videos. It says upload a new video. Say we have two options here, and we have upload a new video and choose existing video. So I'm going to click on upload a new video because I'm uploading a new video. So let's go ahead and click that, upload a new video. If you want to use an existing video, you can go ahead and click that and choose the video you want to use as your podcast. So you can see you still have options to go back to an existing content that you've already created. So let's go ahead and click on upload a new video. So we are done for now. So let's come back up here. You can now see we have the podcast option right here. So from here, you just click on it, scroll down, and boom, you can upload your videos. Now we have set up our podcast. Let's go talking about how can you create your podcast. You can create your podcast usually the same way you create your video, or you can create it faceless. Yeah, just like some of those faceless channels that we see, they can also convert their own videos into our podcast. So right here we are in channel content. Let me show you the playlist of the podcast right here. You can see it right here. That is what we just created. Now let me show you how you can upload your podcast to YouTube. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so right here you can come over to your profile picture, click on it. Once you click on it, we're gonna have this. So come click on your channel, click on that. After clicking on it, we'll just wait for the page to open up. Okay, so this is it. So this, to come over to podcast, you can see it now appearing. Click on it. Okay, so once you click on it and scroll down, we'll have this. It says upload video. You can upload from here, or you can just go up to the plus button right here, see, and just click upload from there. So you can also upload from there. All you just need to do is choose the playlist. When you're uploading, you're going to choose it. That's going to be a playlist of podcast. That's the playlist for the podcast. So that we're going to add it to. So if I click upload, we're now going to have our usual upload page appear. This one right here. You can just go ahead and select. Or if you don't want to click on select, we could just drag it in. So that's what I'm going to do. Just drag it on top of that arrow, and look at it, it's uploading. Boom. So this is it. So we have the title, we have description, You can put in your thumbnail that you created, because each video or audio is going to have its own different thumbnail. You can design that. This is what's more important. I'm just going to come here and click on the podcast that I just created, playlist. Click OK, save, and that is it. See? So that is basically what you need to do. Just click on that playlist, saying that, okay, this is going to be for podcast. This is a podcast. And that's it. So basically, you just go ahead and do the usual thing you usually do. Put in your description, your tag, and title. And once you are done, you click on next. Okay, we're almost done publishing it. So I have a copyright on this. So I think it's the game itself that I'm using. I'm going to correct that later. I'm going to work on that. So I'm publishing the video right now. And you're going to see that it's still the same format, the same steps you need to take when you're uploading your video. All you need to do is choose the podcast playlist, basically. And yep, that is it. Video uploaded. And now, that's it, guys. That's all you need to do. Now, let's answer some of the questions that are commonly asked about YouTube podcast. So, number one is, what is YouTube podcast? A YouTube podcast is a podcast that is hosted on YouTube. It can be audio only or video based. Audio only YouTube podcasts are similar to traditional podcasts, but they are hosted on YouTube and can be accessed through the YouTube website or app. Video-based YouTube podcasts are similar to YouTube videos, but they are longer and have more conversational tone. Now, what are the benefits of starting a YouTube podcast? Well, reaching a wide audience. That's number one. YouTube has a large audience, so your podcast can reach more people than if you only hosted it on a dedicated podcast platform. Engagement is another one. Engaging with your audience. YouTube viewers are more likely to interact with your podcast than listener of a traditional podcast. This is because they can leave comments, subscribe to your channel, and share your videos. Now let's talk about monetization. Monetizing your podcast. If you are in the YouTube Partner Program, you can monetize your podcast through ads, or you can build your brand. A YouTube podcast can help you build your brand and establish yourself as an authority in your field. How do I start a YouTube podcast? Number one, what you need is a microphone, audio editing software, a YouTube channel. Then you need a YouTube channel, that goes without saying, and a video editing software. Now, this is optional. You could just choose to have a still image, then your voice on it. You could just go plainly audio based if you want to. Now, once you have these things, you can start creating your podcast. Here are the basic steps involved. Choose a topic for your podcast. Research your topic and gather information. You have to be very knowledgeable and make sure that what you are saying is true. Write a script or outline for your podcast. Record your podcast, edit your podcast, upload your podcast to YouTube, promote your podcast. Now, talking about promoting your podcast is, how do I promote my YouTube podcast? That's another common question usually asked. And here's a few ideas you could try out. One is, share it on your social media, submit it to your podcast directories. You can become a guest on other people's podcasts. You can run advertising campaign. You can collaborate with other creators too. Now, another thing is that question normally asked is, how do I make money from my YouTube podcast? Another way is you can make money on your YouTube podcast is by selling merchandise or offer a sponsorship. You can work with brands, maybe mentioning a product. They can just advertising the product, asking people to buy. Another one is affiliate marketing too, like Amazon affiliate marketing. Now, we have what are the best practices for creating a YouTube podcast? Number one is have a clear goal for your podcast. So which means you already have to know what is my reason for starting the podcast? What is my message? Who are my audience? Who are the people I'm targeting? Who do I want to communicate to? Now, another thing is produce high quality audio. You have to be clear. You don't want to be noisy, have a bad audio. You want to have a clear audio, sweet and nice. Seriously. Be engaging and interesting. That goes without saying. Promote your podcast effectively. Interact with your audience. Stay consistent with your release. So if you're going to release your podcast once a week or once a month or 2 times a week, just be consistent. Let them know, okay, this is when your podcast will be available. So now let's come over here. It says, what's the difference between a YouTube podcast and a regular podcast? So basically, the main difference between a YouTube podcast and a regular podcast is that a YouTube podcast is hosted on YouTube and can be video based or regular podcast. Video based. A regular podcast is typically audio only and hosted on a dedicated podcast platform. Now, can I use copyright material in my YouTube podcast? Well, you can use copyright material in your YouTube podcast, but you need to get permission from the copyright holder or use it under the fair use guideline. Now, another question usually asked is, how do I avoid copyright strike on my YouTube podcast? To avoid copyright strike on your YouTube podcast, you should always get permission from the copyright holder to use their material. You should also use fair use guidelines when using copyrighted materials. But personally, I do advise to try making your things original. So just try making it yourself to avoid all the issues that you could have using copyright materials, because you can get demonetized, you can get copyright strike. Just try to avoid those issues. Just try creating your own original product material, or put a very huge spin on it if you're going to use somebody else's own. So I hope I've been able to answer some of your questions. If you have any other questions, you can leave it in the comments. I'll try answering them if I have the answers to it. Okay, so let's get back to the video. So let me come over to the podcast. Let's see how it's gonna look like. Now let's check out the video we just uploaded. Come over to podcast, and this is it. So you can see the thumbnail and the description, everything is now showing. This is when we were creating the podcast details, the playlist for the podcast. And the podcast basically still shows in your video normally, just like every YouTube video, it still shows there. I got it right here. See? So that's it, guys. So that is how you can create your podcast and also upload a video on it. Thanks for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe and like. Check out this video over here. Bye.